Hey guys, what's up? My name is Anthony, and welcome to another edition of B&A Sports Talk. And today, what I want to talk about is the Houston Texans. Now, whenever I talk about the Houston Texans, I feel like I should give it a little bit of a caveat. I'm a little bit biased towards the Houston Texans. I said that they go 5-11. I used to love the Houston Texans for some reason. You know, like Matt Schwab, I kind of like that, the whole team. You know, I think it was just like the branding and stuff, but I haven't really liked the Houston Texans over the past year, and it kind of pissed me off how they went 10-6. I said Deshaun Watson isn't going to be able to overcome all the talent that they're losing, and then all of a sudden, they went all in on the season and signed Laremy Tunsil. I lost that bet. I had them over under 8.5. I had the under, so I already lost some money on the Houston Texans, but I want to come into this thing with a clear head, and I'm going to tell you why the Houston Texans should think about trading Deshaun Watson to the Miami Dolphins. It's in the title, so I'm not sure if I spoiled anything. So the first point I want to make is wide receivers don't really win games. You take a look at the top wide receivers, they don't make the playoffs. You know, your Julio Joneses, well, yeah, you had DeAndre Hopkins. I guess he made the playoffs, but they're not really that successful. Odell, when he was with the Giants, trust me, he'll win you a couple games, but overall long-term success, they're more of a distraction for your team. You have to get the ball to him. There's a drama and different things like that. But DeAndre Hopkins was a little bit different. I think him and Deshaun Watson had a little bit of a culture thing. They went to the same school in Clemson. They just were buddies. And it is something like a brotherly bond that you cannot break, which is why I don't love the trade. Plus, you brought in a David Johnson. And this David Johnson signing, for my second point, is a sign that Bill O'Brien wants to implement his system, kind of like what a Chip Kelly wanted to do. Chip Kelly's offense, you know, you brought in guys that you think could fit with the scheme. No, you want to bring in guys that are good. You don't want to bring in guys like, unless towards the end of the season you want to bring in a rental or something to the missing piece, you don't bring in guys for fit. And there's a whole thing with race and stuff that I don't want to talk about, bringing in white wide receivers while cutting black wide receivers, Austin Matthews, blah, 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 guys saying racist things in the past. I don't really want to get into that. But you take a look at it, 10-6 for Chip Kelly, went 6-10, and he was out. You know, brought in Sam Bradford over Nick Foles, who went 27 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. I think that maybe Bill O'Brien could think about that. No, not really. I don't think he's going to be like, yeah, let's get rid of Deshaun Watson and bring in my quarterback. Deshaun Watson is Bill O'Brien's quarterback. You know, he's so proud of him. Like this year, his third year, able to read defense, able to diagnose different things and put it in his team in better positions to succeed. And he's the reason why they won 10 games this year. So that's that problem. And the thing is, with wide receiver cores, they always underperform the great ones. You know, take a look at, you know, the Rams. You know, you get all these guys, then they sign to big deals, and all of a sudden your team crashes because these guys want money. They're divas, like I mentioned before. You know, name the top wide receiver cores this year. The Browns, the Rams, you know, they went nowhere. It's kind of hard. I get it, the Chiefs, but they have Patrick Mahomes. Give me a break there. You know, the Packers had Aaron Rodgers, but who do they also have at wide receiver? Devontae Adams, that was it. And, so the great wide receiver cores don't usually win games, but I think that DeAndre Hopkins could have gotten way more for him. You know, the Vikings with Stephon Diggs, how far did they go? And not really that far. They end up losing to a team that had a power run game, which is the direction that Houston Texans want to go. But it's David Johnson. They have like 4 running backs at this point. They all seem like they're getting injured. But, I think that the Houston Texans, the trade, it's not as bad as people think, but it's not this great trade. You got rid of a guy that you knew that was going to ask for a lot of money later. So I understand, before it developed into a big problem, get rid of him. But Deshaun Watson, once the bond has broken, I think it's hard for it to be fixed. You know, we've seen that with a lot of players. Darius Slays, kind of Odell Beckham Jr. You have Yannick Ngakoue, now he's saying he wants out. So you see a player dropping signs. It usually doesn't end well, and at this point, the Miami Dolphins should think about getting Deshaun Watson. Now, in their standpoint, you know, you have quarterbacks in the draft, they love Joe Burrow, and they'd have to give like 3 first-round picks for him if Cincinnati would do it, but they're not going to. So bring in Deshaun Watson, you'll get probably 2 firsts, maybe 3 firsts for him. It's a 5th, your 18th, and a first next year, but you have 2 firsts next year. You have 2 seconds next year. So 3 firsts, get Deshaun Watson, then you already have a decent amount of talent to surround him. I know this is the draft. They have 14 draft picks. They're going to be great. They brought in a lot of free agents, so you can't really pay Deshaun Watson a lot of money. But you got to turn this whole division around. Especially, you take a look at the Patriots are down. This is your chance to strike. Bring in Deshaun Watson. Let's go. You know, surround him with some talent. in Miami. And I think you still have the 26th pick. You really don't need a lot of pieces. You're in Miami, so wide receivers are going to flock to you. They're just going to... There's that story with the Cleveland Browns, the guy who's sitting out their facility and just saying, like, he lied about being in the tryout or whatever, got his shoes on, and all of a sudden it was a great wide receiver. You're going to be able to find those types of guys, and guys are going to want to play Miami. Tom Brady want to play in Miami. There's a lot of players that are going to want to, especially bringing Deshaun Watson, the new fresh start Miami. The advertising, the money that you'd bring in, it will be crazy. It'll be one of the biggest blockbuster trades in history. Now, taking a look at Houston's standpoint, you'll get a 5-18 and a first round next year, replenishing all the first round picks that you've messed up. Now, you have leverage with the Laramie Tunsil thing. It's just like, yeah, by the way, we're going to draft your future left tackle if you don't shut up and accept this $15 million a year deal. Who do you think you are? And, bring in a cornerback that they've been looking for since Tyrann Mathieu. It's more of a safety, but, get some secondary help with that second 18th overall pick, and then draft somebody again. And plus, you take a look at the quarterbacks that are still available. Oh, Cam Newton, bring him in. I know the McNair family isn't going to love Cam Newton. They're not going to rally behind him and be like, yeah, he's a great guy, because Deshaun Watson was a leader. He had great character. He loves it in Houston, again, which is why I don't think the trade's going to happen. He has a connection to Houston, the team that drafted you, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Bring in Cam Newton for a couple years. Bring in Jameis Winston. They have A.J. McCarron on the roster right now, along with a couple of other guys, that aren't going to be, first guys. But you get a first-round pick. Get a couple first-round picks. Completely turn over your team. J.J. Watt's getting older, and you'll be able to replenish these guys' contracts. It will help Bill O'Brien because you know what? You could say to the ownership, Deshaun Watson wanted out. It wouldn't really fly that well. I think he's scared to make this move. I think it'd be great. No, Deshaun Watson in Miami, that'd be explosive. Take a look at the AFC East. It's just like, whoa, it's so many young, talented quarterbacks in that division. Now, it was like you had Tom Brady last year. It's just like, oh, yeah, that he was like ruling the entire division with Bill Belichick and all the stuff like that. But I think it'll be a very interesting thing to happen for the NFL. I think that it would be welcomed, but hope you guys did enjoy this video. Let me know what you guys think. Would this be a great trade? It has like a 0.2% chance of happening, but I think it'd be a great concept. People would flock to Miami to play with Deshaun Watson. It'll completely turn around that franchise, and yeah, I think both sides should do it. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.